All right. Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive.
Always a pleasure to be back.
Today, we're doing something a little different.
Mm.
We're taking a deep dive into the world of snooker.
Ah, snooker.
Now, I'll admit,
Yeah.
I personally
Yeah.
don't know a whole lot about snooker,
Okay.
but I know we have some listeners out there
I'm sure you.
who are really into it.
Absolutely.
And,
Yeah.
whether you're a seasoned pro at the table
Mm.
or you wouldn't know a cue ball from a golf ball,
Oh,
get ready because
yeah.
this is going to be a fascinating look
It is.
at this game of
Doesn't that ever
strategy,
begin?
skill,
Sorry.
and surprising history.
Oh, yeah. Lots of history.
So our guide for this deep dive
Okay.
is an article titled Snooker. Rules of the Game and Best Players in History.
Okay. Sounds good.
But we're going to go way beyond just the basics here.
Definitely. We have to. With snooker, it's so much more than just potting balls.
Okay.
And it really is fascinating.
Lay it on me.
You see, every single shot,
Okay.
has repercussions. It's not just about your current score, but about how you set up your opponent for their next move.
Mhm.
It's a game of tactics, mental fortitude, reading the table, almost like a chessboard, really.
Okay, so I'm already starting to see
Yeah.
how this is so much more than
Yeah,
just hitting balls into holes.
much more.
So paint me a picture here.
Yeah.
What's the setup?
So imagine this. You're walking into a room, and there's this huge table
Okay.
covered in that iconic green baize cloth,
Yeah.
but it's way bigger than your standard pool table.
Okay.
We're talking 12 feet by 6 feet.
Wow.
And those pockets,
Yeah.
they're not exactly welcoming, let's just say.
Okay, so it's already
Yeah.
more challenging than just your average pool table.
Exactly. That larger playing surface,
Yeah.
combined with those tight pockets, it demands incredible precision, strategy, and you're
Right.
not just trying to sink a ball, you're thinking, where will the cue ball end up? Right.
How will it position me for my next shot?
Mm.
And even, how can I leave my opponent in a difficult spot?
So it's almost like you're playing chess
So
with a
that-
cue stick,
It is a bit like chess with a cue stick.
planning several moves ahead
Absolutely.
and anticipating your opponent's reactions.
You got it.
Okay, so we're playing chess with a cue stick.
Yes.
We're on this massive 12 by 6 foot table.
That's right.
With these tiny little unforgiving pockets.
Exactly.
So what are the pieces of the game?
The pieces, well, we start with the white cue ball.
Okay.
That's your weapon of choice. Your trusty sidekick in this whole thing.
Okay, so the white cue ball
Yeah.
is what we hit with the cue stick.
That's the one. Yeah.
And then what else is on the table?
All right, so then you have a regiment of 15 red balls,
Mhm.
each worth a single point.
Okay, so 15 red balls,
yeah.
1 point each.
That's right.
Got it.
And of course, we can't forget the colorful elite, 6 colored balls, each representing different points. Okay, I was going to say,
Yeah.
it can't just be red and white.
No.
So what are the colors?
All right, so you've got your yellow, your green, brown, blue, pink, and of course the black.
And they're worth different amounts of points.
They are. They range from 2 to a glorious 7 for that black ball.
Okay, so the black is like
It is. It's the king, the grand prize.
the king of the snooker table.
Absolutely.
All right, so we got our players,
Yeah.
we've got our table,
Mm-hmm.
we've got our cast of colorful characters,
Yes.
or should I say balls.
Ha, that's a good one.
So how does this whole thing get rolling?
Well, it all starts with the breakoff shot. One player
Okay.
strikes the cue ball from within a designated area, we call it the D,
Okay.
aiming to scatter those red balls,
Yeah.
and ideally pocket 1 for a strong start.
So right from the get-go,
Yeah.
you're not just trying to hit something.
Yeah, you got to be strategic.
You're trying to hit it strategically.
Exactly. A well-executed break can set you up for the entire frame. A poor one, well, you're playing catch-up.
So it's all about setting the stage.
It is. It's like the opening move in chess. Got to think it through.
Okay, break is done.
Yeah.
What happens next?
Now the real dance begins.
Okay, so walk me through the steps.
All right, so picture this. You've got a pot of red first.
Okay, so red first.
Yep, always red first if there are any left.
Got it.
Then you get to choose a color, any color you like.
Mm.
Pot that, then it's back to another red followed by another color.
Okay, so it's this back and forth.
It is a constant dance between reds and colors.
And each red is 1 point.
1 point for each red, that's right.
And then the colors.
Those depend, you get points based on their value, remember. From 2 to 7 for that black.
Right. Okay, so this keeps going until all the reds are gone.
Exactly. And then the real drama unfolds. That's when it shifts completely to the 6 colored balls. Now,
Uh-huh.
here's the kicker. They have to be potted in a specific order.
Okay, so you can't just go for the black right away.
You wish. Gotta follow the order. Yellow, green, brown, blue, pink, and finally, the black.
Oh, so it's a real climax.
It's a race to the finish line, each pot bringing you closer to victory.
I'm seeing how this is so much more than just more.
Potting balls.
You've got the physical skill of potting the ball, sure.
Right.
But then there's this whole strategic layer on top of it. Choosing the right shots, positioning the cue ball, outmaneuvering your opponent. It's a mental game as much as a physical one.
Right, so you're not just trying to sink them, you're trying to think
Think ahead always.
several steps ahead.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But of course, even the best players in the world, they're not perfect.
Right, everyone makes mistakes.
Everyone makes mistakes, and in snooker, those mistakes can be costly. So what kind of mistakes are we talking about?
Well, we call them fouls.
Fouls.
Yeah, and these can really turn the tide of a frame.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, so accidentally potting the cue ball. Oh, yeah.
That's a common
That
one.
makes sense.
That's an automatic point to your opponent.
Oh, I see.
And then there's hitting the wrong ball first.
Okay, so you can't just hit any ball you want.
Got to hit a red first if
Mhm.
there's any left on the table.
Yeah.
It's like playing the wrong chess piece, you know?
Right, throws off the whole...
Exactly. And then you have things like sending a ball off the table
Oh, wow.
or even touching any ball other than the cue ball with your hand or cue.
So there are all these little rules.
Little rules, big
to
consequences.
zip you up.
That's snooker for you.
So it's a high-stakes game
It is.
where even a seemingly small error
That
can
big
have
one.
major consequences.
It can change the entire course of a frame.
You really have to be on your toes,
How do you...
both physically,
And
mentally,
it's a test of both, for sure.
to excel at this game. You said it, it's not just about potting those balls, it's about avoiding those strategic traps and knowing how to capitalize when your opponent makes a slip-up.
And that's what makes it
Yeah.
so much more than just a simple
So much more.
bar game.
Layers upon layers.
Yeah.
It's a game of inches, of angles, of calculated risks. And understanding these rules, these potential pitfalls, is key to appreciating the mastery of those snooker legends we were talking about.
Well, and I'm definitely
So it's-
excited to dive into those snooker legends
Idiot.
a little bit later on in our deep dive.
Sounds good. Now, where were we? Oh, yes, those legendary figures. Our source highlights some true titans of the snooker world. Players like Ronnie O'Sullivan, Stephen Hendry, Steve Davis, each with their own unique style, and their own impact on the game.
Okay, I am ready to hear about these snooker legends.
Okay,
I definitely know the name Ronnie O'Sullivan, the Rocket, right?
that's the one.
But I gotta be honest, that's about all I know. Fill me in.
Yeah.
What makes him so legendary?
Yeah. Well, just try to imagine this. O'Sullivan's at the table, and it's like watching a blur of speed and precision.
Wow.
He's got so many records, most ranking titles, century breaks, you name it.
Wait. Back up for a second.
Okay.
What exactly is a century break?
Yes. A century break. That's when a player scores 100 points or more in a single visit to the table. It means potting a sequence of reds and colors flawlessly, demonstrating incredible control and accuracy.
Okay.
And O'Sullivan, he's achieved this feat, get this, over 1,100 times, more than any other player in history.
That is insane. Over 1,100 times.
Yeah.
To maintain that level of focus and precision for that many shots, I mean, that's almost superhuman.
It really is something else.
No wonder they call him the Rocket. It's like he's on another level.
He really is a force of nature on that snooker table. But, beyond just the raw talent,
Yeah.
O'Sullivan's also known for this really aggressive, attacking style of play.
So he's always on the attack.
Always. He's looking to pot balls, keep the momentum going, put pressure on his opponent, never let up.
I bet that's intimidating to play against.
Oh, absolutely. Like facing a whirlwind,
Right. Like he's controlling the whole match.
dictating the pace.
Yeah. And I mean, I can only imagine, but I'm guessing he's good under pressure too, right?
Oh, legendary. The bigger the stage, the more he seems to thrive. A true showman,
Yeah.
an entertainer, and just a true icon of the sport, really.
All right. So we've got the Rocket, a player who embodies speed, precision, and an aggressive style. Now, you mentioned Stephen Hendry, too.
Oh, yeah.
Our source said he dominated the snooker scene in the 1990s.
Hendry, yeah, he's another fascinating figure in snooker history. His reign in the 90s, well, it was marked by this incredible precision, almost robotic, the way he'd build these breaks.
Okay.
Racked up a record 7 world championship titles.
7 world championships, that's a dynasty.
It is.
What set him apart from the other players? Was it all just technical skill, or was there something more?
Well, you see, Hendry was known for this incredibly methodical approach. He was so accurate, consistently potting balls from all sorts of angles and distances. It was incredible to watch.
Wow.
But even beyond the technical skill,
Yeah.
he had this unwavering mental toughness.
I can see how that would be important.
Oh, it's crucial. He could maintain his focus for hours, completely unfazed by the pressure.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's like what you were saying before about O'Sullivan
Yeah,
dictating the pace.
exactly.
So if you let that get in your head, then you're gonna
Gonna crumble.
lose the game.
Hendry was a master at that mental game, wearing his opponents down. Through his break building, through his control over the flow of the game. A true champion, both in terms of skill, and that unshakable determination.
Okay, so we've got the Rocket with his speed and aggressive style. We've got the methodical, precise, mentally tough Hendry. And then our source mentions another legend, Steve Davis,
The Iceman.
the Iceman.
He was a force in the 80s, known for that cool demeanor and strategic approach.
So I'm already picturing him at the table,
Yeah,
the Iceman. That nickname already tells me
he does, doesn't it?
something about his personality.
Calm under pressure, right? Maybe even a little unemotional.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Was that accurate? How did he play?
Oh, spot on. Davis was famous for his composure. Even in the most tense moments of a match, never cracked. He rarely showed his emotions,
Wow.
which could be really unnerving for his opponents,
Yeah, I can imagine.
like playing against a robot or something.
Yeah, it's like he's not even there.
Right.
It's just the table and the balls.
He was a master tactician, always thinking several steps ahead, planning each shot so meticulously.
So it sounds like he was a completely different player than O'Sullivan.
Oh, night and day.
Where O'Sullivan's all about speed and flair, Davis is like
The strategist, the chess player of snooker. And that approach, well, it worked. 6 world championships. He really mastered the tactical side of snooker.
he wasn't just trying to pop balls, he was trying to control the whole game.
Precisely. Dictating the pace, forcing his opponents into tough spots. A real snooker puppeteer, in a way.
That is so fascinating.
Uh-huh.
And it really shows you that there's not just one way to be successful
Oh.
in snooker.
So many paths to the top.
Yeah, you can have the speed and flair, or you can have that calculated strategic approach.
And everything in between, which is
Yeah.
what makes snooker so captivating,
Yeah, absolutely.
We've only just scratched the surface here, though.
Really.
Oh, yeah, our source mentions other snooker titans like Ray Reardon, Mark Selby, John Higgins, Neil Robertson,
Oh.
all with their unique styles and contributions.
Okay, well, I am definitely ready to hear about those players as well.
Let's do it.
It's amazing to think about all these different playing styles we've talked about. The speed of O'Sullivan, the precision of Hendry, the tactical genius of Davis. It's incredible.
Yeah, it really shows you the range of approaches.
It does. And it makes
Yeah.
me wonder, are there any common threads that connect all these snooker titans? Like, what does it take to reach that level of mastery?
That's a great question. Really gets to the heart of it.
Yeah.
I think, well, it's a combination of factors. Of course, you need a high level of technical skill, right?
Yeah.
The ability to pop balls consistently, control that cue ball,
Yeah.
execute a variety of shots.
Right. The fundamentals.
Exactly. But that's just the foundation. To really excel, to become a legend, you need that mental fortitude, the strategic thinking, and honestly, a near obsessive dedication to the game.
So it's not just about having a good eye and a steady hand.
Yeah.
You need the mental game to match.
100%. Think about it. You're standing at that table under immense pressure. Every shot you take is being watched, analyzed,
Yeah.
and the outcome of the match, it's all riding on you. To thrive in that environment, you need incredible focus, the ability to block everything else out, and the resilience to bounce back from setbacks. Because let's be honest, everyone misses shots sometimes.
Right. Even the best.
Even the best.
Yeah. So they need to be able to,
Knock it off and move on.
yeah. And I guess not let those mistakes
Exactly.
their next shot.
Their next shot.
You see that in all the snooker greats, that mental toughness, regardless of their individual style.
It's almost like they're playing 2 games at once, right? The
Mhm.
physical game on the table
Yeah.
and this mental game.
Absolutely. trying to outmaneuver their opponent both on the table and inside their heads.
Yeah, and that's what makes snooker
So fascinating to watch that.
so fascinating to watch. It's more than just a game. It's a battle of skill, strategy, nerves.
Couldn't have said it better myself. The players who master all three of those elements, well, they're the ones who rise to the top.
And speaking of rising to the top,
Yeah.
we still have a few more players to talk about.
Oh, yes. We can't forget them.
So who's next on our list of snooker legends?
All right, let's talk about Ray Reardon, a Welsh player who dominated the 1970s, earned himself the nickname Dracula. Dracula. Okay, that's a pretty intimidating nickname. What made him so formidable?
Well, Reardon was known for his incredible tactical brilliance, particularly his mastery of safety play.
Okay, remind me again, what's safety play?
Ah, right. Safety play is all about controlling the cue ball, leaving your opponent in a difficult position where they're forced to take a risky shot, you know.
Right, so it's not always about potting the balls yourself.
Sometimes it's about making things difficult for your opponent.
Yeah.
And Reardon, he was a master of that. He was also incredibly consistent, rarely made unforced errors. So you've got this combination of strategic play and, unwavering reliability, which made him a real force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, it sounds like he was the kind of player who could really frustrate his opponents. Like he'd force them into mistakes and then capitalize on every single misstep.
Exactly. Not necessarily the flashiest style like O'Sullivan's speed,
Right.
but incredibly effective.
And it worked, right. I mean, he won championships.
Oh yeah, 6 world championship titles cemented his place among those snooker greats.
Wow. Okay, so Dracula with his tactical mastery. Very cool. Who's next?
All right, let's shift gears a bit. Look at a more contemporary player. Mark Selby, also known as the Jester from Leicester.
The Jester from Leicester. Okay, that's quite a contrast from Dracula. What kind of player is Selby?
Selby's known for his gritty, tactical style and his ability to disrupt his opponent's rhythm, A real master of psychological warfare on the snooker table.
Whoa, okay, psychological warfare.
Yeah, he uses all sorts of tactics to gain a mental edge over his opponent.
So he's not just playing against the balls on the table.
No, he's playing against his opponent's mind as well.
That's so interesting.
It is. He's known for that slow, deliberate style, which can be really frustrating for opponents who prefer a faster pace.
Oh, I can imagine.
And of course, he's a master of safety play as well. Loves to leave that cue ball in a spot that makes it tough for his opponent to even pot a ball.
So he's like a snooker mastermind.
A mastermind, always a few steps ahead.
Always thinking.
Always thinking.
And it's worked for him.
Oh yeah, 4-time world champion. His tactical brilliance, his mental toughness, those are his keys to success.
All right, so we've got speed and flair, methodical precision, ice-cold tactics, strategic mastery, psychological warfare. I mean,
It's a diverse sport.
it really is. Snooker rewards so many different approaches and personalities.
It's not just about potting balls, it's about finding your own way to master the game,
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
But we're not done yet, right? We still have 2 more players to talk about.
2 more legends to round out our exploration, John Higgins and Neil Robertson.
Okay, bring on the final 2. What makes these players stand out?
Right, first up is John Higgins, a Scottish player nicknamed the Wizard of Wishaw. He's famous for his incredible break-building skills and, just like the Iceman Steve Davis, unwavering composure under pressure. He's a 4-time world champion, a true master of the craft.
So if we're talking about those long runs, putting ball after ball to rack up those points.
Yeah, those big breaks.
Higgins is the guy to watch.
Oh, absolutely. He's got this smooth, flowing style, almost effortless the way he pots balls from seemingly impossible angles. But it goes beyond just technical skill, It's his mental game. He stays calm, focused, even when the pressure is at its peak. Hence the nickname The Wizard. Some say he's got magical powers on the table.
He's the guy who thrives when the stakes are high.
Thrives. Doesn't let the pressure get to him, just focuses on the task at hand, delivers those clutch shots when it matters most.
That's amazing.
And that mental strength, that's been a defining feature of his career, allowing him to compete at the highest level for over 2 decades, incredible longevity.
Okay, so we've got the Wizard with his break building and mental strength. Who's our last legend?
Last but not least, we have Neil Robertson, an Australian player known for his long potting and equally cool demeanor at the table.
So if Higgins is the wizard of break building, what's Robertson's specialty?
Robertson's a phenomenal all-around player, truly. But if you had to pick one thing, it'd be his ability to sink those long-range shots, the ones that leave the audience gasping.
Oh, wow.
He's got a powerful, accurate cue action, and he's not afraid to take risks, when he sees an opportunity.
He sounds like a real crowd pleaser. Those long shots are always exciting.
Oh, they are. And Robertson's a very popular player. Exciting style of play, great sportsmanship, just an all-around fantastic ambassador for the sport.
Amazing. And he's won championships too, right?
He has. One-time world champion and consistently in contention for those major titles.
Wow, it's incredible to think about all the talent and styles we've talked about today. Speed, precision, tactical brilliance, psychological gamesmanship, long potting. I mean, snooker really has it all.
It does, and it shows you that there's no single path to success in this sport. It's about finding what works for you, playing to your strengths, and pushing yourself to constantly improve.
Finding your own way to master the game.
Exactly. And for anyone listening who might be feeling inspired, maybe thinking about picking up a cue themselves, I say go for it. Embrace that diversity, experiment, find what works for you, and most importantly, have fun with it.
That's great advice. Even if you never become a world champion, snooker is a game that can provide so much enjoyment and challenge, and you can always learn from those who came before you, those legends we talked about today.
Couldn't agree more. It's a game that challenges your skills, your strategy, your mental game. And who knows, maybe one day we'll be talking about your legendary shots and brilliant tactics right here on the Deep Dive.
That's a great thought. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the world of snooker. Hopefully you learned something new, maybe gained a new appreciation for this fascinating game, and who knows, maybe even felt that spark of inspiration to give it a try yourself. So until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those cue balls rolling.
See you next time.